Speed is a thrill that never really fades, but real satisfaction comes when speed meets precision, when the machine feels like an extension of your thoughts rather than just your throttle hand. Riders chase that balance endlessly, engineers dream of capturing it in metal and electronics. Some say that balance belongs only to the past, to the golden days of compact engines and pure handling. Others argue the future belongs to advanced tech and massive power. Yet every once in a while, something appears that bridges both worlds. A return to focus, to finesse, to the art of mastering momentum rather than overpowering it. And that story begins right here, with a machine that revives a legend while rewriting the rulebook for what middleweight performance can be. If you want more deep dives into machines that define their class and rewrite expectations, remember to like, subscribe, and tell us what icon you want covered next. The 2024 Honda CBR600RR marks a rare moment in modern motorcycling, a company famous for discipline and detail resurrecting a model that once defined the supersport category. The CBR600RR was never about brute force, it was about rhythm, precision, and control. When Honda paused production years ago, many thought the 600 cubic centimeters class had reached its limit. Rider habits changed, larger superbikes and upright sports standards became the mainstream choice. But Honda quietly disagreed. Its engineers still believed in the philosophy that mastery, not muscle, creates lasting excitement. That belief shaped every millimeter of the 2024 Honda CBR600RR. It begins with the engine, a 599 cubic centimeters inline-4 that revs like a scalpel through air. At first glance, the power figures seem modest compared to liter-class monsters, but the magic lies in the delivery. The way it spins freely, the crispness of each response, the exactness of throttle modulation, all refined through thousands of hours on test benches and racetracks. The new throttle-by-wire system connects the rider's hand to the intake butterflies with digital accuracy, making old-school cables feel almost primitive. It is not about violence or aggression. It is about communication, the kind of seamless translation that lets a rider trace perfect lines through corners without conscious effort. Honda reinforced that idea with aerodynamics derived from its MotoGP program. Winglets sculpted into the fairing generate downforce under acceleration, giving the CBR600RR remarkable stability without adding unnecessary drag. On paper, the effect seems small. In practice, it transforms the feeling of high-speed corner exits. The bike stays planted, predictable, encouraging you to lean harder and brake later. This isn't about impressing with numbers, it's about confidence. A rider who feels in control rides faster, longer, and safer. That's the quiet brilliance of this design. The frame continues the theme. Honda used its aluminum twin-spar architecture but revised rigidity balance for 2024. Too stiff, and the bike feels nervous, too soft, and it loses precision. Engineers found a middle ground through subtle changes in wall thickness and pivot placement. Combined with a lightweight aluminum swing arm inspired by the RC213 VS, the result is a chassis that communicates feedback like few others. Every ripple of tarmac, every weight transfer, comes through in clear detail. That is where the CBR600RR earns its reputation as a rider's instrument rather than just a machine. Suspension setup completes the equation. The show a big piston fork and adjustable rear shock provide range for both road and track. This adjustability matters because the 600RR appeals to two audiences, those chasing lap times, and those carving weekend backroads. On both fronts, it delivers precision without punishing comfort. Ride modes and electronic aids like traction control, wheelie control, and cornering ABS are seamlessly integrated. Unlike many modern systems, they don't dominate the experience, they enhance it. You still feel the raw connection between rider and road, but with a safety net that catches mistakes before they become consequences. Inside the cockpit, the 2024 Honda CBR600RR adopts a TFT display that feels minimalist but purposeful. No gimmicks, no clutter, just vital data presented clearly. The interface echoes Honda's racing dashboards, prioritizing speed and gear position with optional track timing functions. Every button, every switch follows that philosophy of intentional simplicity. Riders can focus on riding, not navigating menus. The ergonomics remain unapologetically aggressive, but with fine-tuned geometry for better comfort during longer rides. Clip-ons are slightly wider, seat foam has been optimized for pressure distribution, foot pegs are adjustable. These may sound minor, but they allow more riders to access the CBR600RR's performance envelope without fatigue. It's the kind of refinement that reveals Honda's obsession with human-machine harmony. Styling is equally disciplined. Sharp, compact, aerodynamic. The fairing doesn't chase drama, it follows function. The LED lighting blends seamlessly into the bodywork, accentuating the sense of flow. The tail section is short and purposeful, highlighting the machine's compactness. Every surface has intent, every crease supports stability or airflow. Honda's design team avoided nostalgia, this is evolution, not imitation. Still, the 2024 Honda CBR600RR isn't merely an engineering exercise, it's a statement. It proves there's still a place for precision in a world obsessed with excess. That makes this model fascinating to study, not just as a motorcycle, but as a philosophy. When riders talk about the feel, the control, the communication, they're really talking about Honda's refusal to let that art fade away. The question, then, is why now? Why bring back a midweight supersport when markets trend toward adventure bikes and naked models? Because Honda understands that the emotional link between rider and machine never goes out of style. The CBR600RR isn't meant to dominate sales charts, it's meant to preserve a culture. It's a celebration of skill, balance, and finesse at a time when many riders rely on electronics to do the thinking for them. As we look deeper into what sets the 2024 Honda CBR600RR apart, we find that this revival isn't just nostalgia dressed in new plastics. It's the product of strategic engineering decisions, lessons from racing, and a commitment to human-centered performance. And that brings us to the heart of the matter, what makes this motorcycle's engineering truly exceptional and how it reshapes the experience of control itself. The 2024 Honda CBR600RR takes everything learned from decades of racing and compresses it into a motorcycle designed for mastery. The magic lies not in overwhelming power but in how perfectly every part works together. When you ride the CBR600RR, you notice how the engine, chassis, suspension, and electronics speak the same language. That harmony is the product of years of iteration, where every gram, every bolt, every data point serves a purpose. Honda's engineers revisited the core of the CBR600RR, its 599 cubic centimeters inline-4. This engine remains naturally aspirated, revving freely to 14,000 revolutions per minute, producing around 120 horsepower. Those numbers might not shock modern enthusiasts, but the character of the delivery is addictive. The motor thrives on precision, building power smoothly, encouraging riders to explore the upper range rather than relying on brute torque. It is as if the engine rewards finesse. The throttle-by-wire calibration, borrowed directly from the CBR1000RR Fireblade, eliminates lag and exaggeration. Instead of jerky response, you get clean control, a whisper becomes acceleration. Cooling, combustion, and efficiency all received attention. Honda used redesigned cylinder heads and updated intake funnels to optimize airflow. Lighter pistons and friction-reducing coatings make the engine both more responsive and durable. The sound, too, was tuned deliberately, a crisp, high-pitched tone that recalls race paddocks, not parking lots. Every mechanical note serves feedback, reminding the rider how close the limits are. The 2024 Honda CBR600RR also features a 6-axis inertial measurement unit, the same type found in Honda's MotoGP machines. This IMU monitors lean angle, acceleration, pitch, and yaw in real time, feeding data to traction control, ABS, and wheelie management. These systems adjust subtly, not intrusively. You can feel them intervene, but only as a nudge. This allows skilled riders to explore edge grip with confidence while giving newer riders a margin of safety that was once impossible in analog machines. When cornering, the CBR600RR displays why Honda continues to dominate handling discussions. The balance between front and rear weight is nearly perfect. As you tip into a turn, the bike remains neutral, communicating grip and surface texture instantly. The show a big piston fork at the front, paired with the Unit ProLink rear shock, manages energy transitions gracefully. On bumpy roads or smooth tracks, damping feels consistent, the chassis never flinches. Many bikes offer electronic suspension, but Honda's mechanical setup reminds us that tuning precision can rival digital complexity. Braking performance comes from dual 310mm discs with radial mount 4-piston calipers at the front and a single disc at the rear. The feel through the lever is solid and progressive, supported by cornering ABS that adapts pressure based on lean angle. You can trail brake deeper without losing composure. That's vital because it shifts trust from the system to the rider. You feel empowered to explore limits rather than held back by electronics. The CBR600RR's aerodynamics deserve special attention. The winglets integrated into the fairing are not cosmetic. They were tested using computational fluid dynamics and wind tunnels to produce measurable downforce. At 150 miles per hour, these wings generate stability that allows the bike to hold its line when accelerating out of a bend. They also help maintain front-end contact, preventing lift without reducing agility. It is a small detail that reflects Honda's racing DNA. The riding position, aggressive as it is, supports that performance. The narrow tank allows close body positioning, letting riders grip effectively with their knees. The seat and bars align for optimal weight distribution. On track, this geometry encourages a natural tuck. On the road, it still provides enough comfort for longer rides. Honda managed to make performance ergonomics livable, an achievement that separates this motorcycle from more single-purpose machines. Technology integration inside the cockpit reinforces the bike's focus on clarity. The full-color TFT dash changes display modes between street and track, prioritizing information according to context. A clear gear indicator, lap timer, and engine temperature gauge sit in intuitive positions. It may sound simple, but at speed, simplicity prevents mistakes. That attention to cognitive load, how much the rider has to process, shows Honda's human-centered design philosophy. Electronics extend beyond traction and braking systems. The riding modes tailor engine power, engine braking, and electronic intervention to conditions. In sport mode, throttle response is sharp, in rain, it softens. Riders can customize these maps, creating personal setups that reflect skill and preference. The quick shifter and auto blipper complete the package, allowing clutchless upshifts and downshifts that keep both hands focused on control. Beyond engineering, the 2024 Honda CBR600RR carries emotional weight. It represents resistance against simplification. In an age where motorcycles are often defined by screen size and app compatibility, the 600RR still prioritizes tactile connection. It reminds riders that performance is as much about feeling as it is about figures. Honda could have built another upright all-rounder. Instead, it built something purer, something that asks more of the rider and gives more in return. Critics might ask if such a motorcycle still matters when superbikes deliver double the horsepower and electronics do half the work. The answer lies in experience. On a twisty road or technical circuit, where agility and precision matter more than brute acceleration, the CBR600RR feels alive. It allows you to work for speed rather than simply manage it. It's the difference between playing an instrument and pressing play on a recording. The 2024 Honda CBR600RR also serves as a link to Honda's racing identity. The DNA flows directly from MotoGP research, proving that track innovation can still refine road machines. For riders who grew up admiring mid-2000s supersports, this model feels like closure and continuation at once. It acknowledges a golden era while introducing technology that ensures its relevance in a stricter, emissions-conscious world. Every choice in this bike, from the compact exhaust placement to the re-engineered cooling ducts, serves performance. Yet, the CBR600RR never feels mechanical for its own sake. It's guided by purpose. Each ride reveals layers: the way suspension loads under braking, the way the chassis flexes mid-corner, the way the throttle breathes through high revs. Those sensations define connection, the kind many riders feel has disappeared from modern machines. And that connection brings us to the next level of understanding. The 2024 Honda CBR600RR is more than an engineering triumph, it's a cultural statement. It raises questions about the future of motorcycling itself: what matters more, numbers on paper, or the experience behind the bars? The answer unfolds when we explore how the CBR600RR shapes rider behavior, challenges perception, and leaves a legacy that may outlast its production run. The 2024 Honda CBR600RR does more than revive a nameplate, it rekindles a way of thinking about motorcycles. It reminds us that true performance is not about excess, it is about refinement, control, and harmony. The CBR600RR invites riders to focus not on dominance but on precision, a mindset that defines Honda's identity at its core. When you approach this motorcycle, you are not just buying technology, you are buying philosophy. Every aspect of its design encourages respect for the craft of riding. In motion, that philosophy becomes tangible. The 2024 Honda CBR600RR rewards discipline. The bike is quick, but only if you are smooth, powerful, but only if you are deliberate. Unlike machines that forgive lazy inputs, the CBR600RR amplifies every rider choice. Brake too early, and it holds you back; hit your marks, and it sings. That feedback loop teaches as much as it thrills. Riders describe it as a kind of dialogue, one that refines their technique over time. It is a rare motorcycle that improves its owner rather than the other way around. This quality makes the 2024 CBR600RR important beyond performance figures. In rider training programs and advanced schools, it could serve as a bridge between beginner-friendly sport bikes and high-end superbikes. Its balance of accessibility and demand builds skill gradually. The moderate power lets learners explore traction, throttle control, and braking zones without being overwhelmed. For veterans, it remains rewarding precisely because it scales with skill. Few motorcycles manage that dual nature effectively; the CBR600RR does. Its impact on the market extends further. Honda's decision to bring back the 600RR challenges industry assumptions. Many manufacturers moved away from middleweight supersports, arguing they were too costly to develop under modern emissions standards. By reviving the CBR600RR, Honda demonstrated that passion still has a place in corporate strategy. It signals faith in riders who value experience over convenience. That message resonates deeply with enthusiasts who feared the extinction of high-revving, track-focused motorcycles. Environmentally, Honda approached the 2024 CBR600RR with pragmatism. The engine meets strict Euro 5 regulations without dulling its spirit. Improved combustion efficiency, revised exhaust routing, and catalytic converters allow cleaner performance while retaining the signature 600 character. It proves performance and responsibility can coexist. This approach may influence future sport bike development, showing that compliance need not compromise excitement. Culturally, the CBR600RR also redefines what aspiration looks like. For decades, riders measured success by displacement; bigger meant better. But Honda's reborn 600 challenges that hierarchy. It argues that mastery over machinery, not sheer horsepower, defines greatness. On twisty roads, a skilled rider on a CBR600RR can outpace a more powerful rival simply because the bike allows total command. It rewards focus, not ego. That sense of connection reshapes the emotional landscape of riding. The 2024 Honda CBR600RR captures the thrill of effort, the satisfaction that comes from earning speed, from reading traction, from synchronizing movement with machine. It is not about ease, it is about engagement. many riders miss that feeling in modern bikes overloaded with intervention systems. Honda's selective use of electronics keeps the experience pure but safe, preserving the essential link between input and response. In a broader sense, the CBR600RR embodies continuity in a rapidly changing world. As electric mobility rises and regulations tighten, combustion motorcycles face uncertainty. Honda's decision to invest in a machine like the 600RR acknowledges this shift yet refuses to abandon emotion. It stands as a reminder that technology can evolve without erasing the soul of performance. Future electric sport bikes may inherit this philosophy of balance, merging precision with sustainability. The legacy of the CBR600RR stretches back 2 decades, defined by championship wins and legendary handling. The 2024 version honors that lineage while proving relevance in today's market. Riders who once owned older generations will recognize the same DNA, the flickable agility, the predictable mid-corner stability, but they will also feel how far refinement has come. It is nostalgia, upgraded with modern intelligence. In many ways, this motorcycle bridges generations. Younger riders see it as an attainable dream machine, older riders see it as a return to form. Its existence inspires conversations about what motorcycling should be. Should it chase outright power, or should it celebrate precision? The CBR600RR answers that question not with marketing slogans but with the way it feels on a mountain pass or a track apex. It proves that perfection is not about numbers, it is about rhythm, trust, and flow. As the industry looks toward automation and electrification, machines like the 2024 Honda CBR600RR gain symbolic importance. They represent the final evolution of mechanical mastery before the next era begins. This model may well become one of the last pure inline-4 supersports with this level of engagement. In that sense, it captures a moment in time, a closing chapter for analog passion balanced with digital support. And perhaps that is the CBR600RR's greatest legacy. It teaches us that progress does not always mean replacing the old, sometimes it means perfecting it. Honda could have left the 600RR in history books, yet it chose to refine and reintroduce it. That decision honors riders who still believe that the relationship between human and machine is worth preserving. The 2024 Honda CBR600RR reminds us that precision is timeless. Speed will always evolve, technology will always advance, but the art of control, the joy of feeling every corner, every throttle input, every smooth gear change, remains eternal. And that is why this motorcycle stands as both a culmination and a promise. It closes the loop on decades of development while hinting at the next evolution of rider-centered design. The question now is how long the world will value this balance before the next transformation arrives. The 2024 Honda CBR600RR stands as a defining statement in an era of transition. From its first concept sketch to its final production form, it reflects Honda's belief that precision and purpose still matter more than raw output. Throughout its story, this motorcycle has reintroduced the idea that mastery can be modern, that technology should enhance rather than replace the rider's connection to the road. The CBR600RR's legacy is built on clarity. Its engine delivers power that feels measured and responsive, not overwhelming. Its chassis talks through every corner, giving the rider information that builds trust. Every design choice, each contour of its fairing, each adjustment in its geometry, serves a single mission: to make speed accessible through control. That focus on communication over spectacle sets it apart from machines designed to impress with numbers alone. In many ways, the 2024 Honda CBR600RR has become a benchmark for what balance truly means. It carries racing DNA yet remains civilized enough for daily use. It can deliver track precision without punishing its rider on the street. It represents the intersection of tradition and innovation, showing how experience can be amplified by technology rather than erased by it. As riders discover it, they also rediscover themselves. The CBR600RR demands patience, teaches precision, and rewards consistency. It turns every ride into an education in focus. That is why it resonates beyond statistics, because it embodies growth. It celebrates the idea that performance is not measured in horsepower but in harmony. Looking forward, the influence of the 2024 Honda CBR600RR will echo across future models and future generations of riders. It reminds engineers to prioritize feel alongside function, and it reminds riders that the most satisfying victories happen between throttle and thought. Whether combustion continues or electric takes over, this philosophy will endure. Honda has not simply revived a motorcycle, it has reaffirmed an identity. The CBR600RR stands as proof that refinement is its own kind of rebellion, quiet, precise, and powerful in its restraint. As the industry chases new directions, this machine remains a touchstone for what great engineering and human-centered design can achieve together. In the end, the 2024 Honda CBR600RR is not just a return, it is a reminder. A reminder that perfection lies in balance, that mastery is timeless, and that true riders will always seek the moment where motion, mind, and machine become one. That is the heart of its story, and the lasting impression it leaves on every road, every rider, and every generation that still believes control is the ultimate form of freedom.